New York, big city of dreams. New York, big city of dreams. NYC.
What's going on? This is Jay Ellis from the Nick of Time Show, here giving you that Knicks talk just in the nick of time. And guess what? The Knicks just beat the Spurs, and we have won the NBA Cup in Vegas. That is right. We have been more sophisticated and even unethical, and we still won that NBA Cup. Let's get it, all right? Cat gives you 16 points, 11 rebounds, 1 assist, and 2 steals. OG Anunoby gives you 28 points, 9 rebounds, 3 assists, and 5 rebounds. I'm sorry. Brunson gives you 25 points, 8 assists, 2 blocks from Jalen Brunson playing that defense. Hart gives you 11. Clarkson gives you 15 and 2. And Tyler Kolek gives you 14 points, 5 assists, and 5 rebounds. The Knicks do their thing. It was a tight game. They found themselves down 11, but stormed back with grit, with offensive rebounds, and the Knicks put the clamps on the Spurs at the very end and take home the victory, with Jalen Brunson being the MVP of this NBA Cup. And we're talking about it all: the good, the bad, the ugly, the storylines, the benchings, the DNPs, the MVPs, the honorable mentions, and everything in between. I cannot wait to get into this, man. Tyler Kolek Hive, I see you. Tyler Kolek Hive, I see you. And before we talk about the whole game, I introduce you to my peoples. First and foremost, it is the Latin Assassin, ESPN contributor, posting and toasting contributor, Bleacher Report contributor, my man, Lee Escobedo. What's good, Lee?
JL, it's my brother. Got 2 quick shout-outs before we start talking ball. Introduce everybody else. First one shout to Predicate. The Predicate and I have been going back and forth for about a season and a half now on the validity of Tyler Kolek as a rotation player, and he proved tonight that the Predicate has been right this entire time. Shout out to the Predicate for the eye test and the coaching acumen and the playing acumen to be able to see that Tyler Kolek, what I could not see, which is Tyler Kolek is ready for prime time. Second, this win is for all the Knicks fans. This win is for the Knicks fans who are elder millennials, the ones who survived, who were too young to purely enjoy the Bernard Kane or the Patrick Ewing, but maybe started watching and truly being cognizant around 99 finals, and then immediately felt the pain and poverty of a James Dolan era, which led into his Scott Layden era, which led to his Isaiah Thomas era, which led into the Phil Jackson era, and then the Steve Mills era. Listen, y'all, this wins for you, especially my main man, Ryan G., who I'm so happy to enjoy this and get his hat and be able to rep these Knicks in this in-season tournament. Because as he said, the Duke Jets, I ain't never seen the Knicks win shit. So I agree with you, brother. Here we are.
Yeah, man. Never seen the Wicks in nothing, man. Those 99 finals hurt, but maybe this is the precursor. Maybe this is the stepping stone, all right? And of course, you already know is the man, the myth, the legend, the guy with the stats and the facts.
Ryan G's in the building. Yeah, it's a great day for me, man. Like, since I first became a Knicks fan, it was like late 90s, you know, so I got to see a few good years before it started really going to hell, you know, in the 2000s and for most of the 2010s. But yeah, tonight's definitely a special night for all Knicks fans, you know, across the U.S., across the world. It's the first time Knicks won anything since 1973, which is crazy, which is probably before the majority of us was even born. You know what I mean? And I just want to see the Knicks do. Actually, I just want them to be the first team to win both the NBA Cup and the NBA Finals within the same season. So let's go, Knicks. This is a stepping stone for something greater. Let's go.
Let's go. Let's go. And of course, you already know there's an ex-AAU baller, ex-AAU coach. I mean, being motivated is good, B.
I'm emotional. I did come later. I'm one of the late bloomers. I did go through poverty, though. I there was a time I turned on my TV, and I believe Lou Almastar was our power forward at one point. I was like, you know what? Let's just go Knicks. Let's go Knicks. And I haven't stopped shouting since. So this feels good. I know a lot of people said NBA Cup, no big deal. But if you're a Knicks fan, this is a big deal for us. This is a nice little stepping stone, and this is the first banner of two more coming. We got the Eastern Conference one, and we got the NBA Finals one coming, baby. Nice start.
Let's go. Let's go. Now, I'm gonna talk about a lot of people because when you talk about this game, there was contributions like everywhere, all the way up and down the roster. Kyle, OG, Kyle gave you something. Mitch Rod gave you something. Jalen Brunson gave you something. There was contributions everywhere. But I am going to start by talking about somebody who only have 14 points today. Okay, 14 points, 5 assists, 5 rebounds. And I'm talking about none other than Tyler Kolek. And what made this game important to me is how he stepped up and when he stepped up. We've seen flashes of Tyler Kolek having big games and the moxie and the balls to take the big shot. We've seen glimpses of that in Summer League one year. We've seen glimpses of that during the season when his back is against the wall and he had to fight against Malcolm Brogdon. We've seen him grow defensively this season, but today he started hitting shots. Today the defense came together. Today, the Knicks needed an extra ball handler because it was pressuring Jalen Brunson so much that he needed some relief. He needed some reprieve. And we started out with Mikal Bridges being the extra ball handler in the first quarter. By the fourth quarter, Mikal Bridges was on the bench. And because the coach had a headache and needed some Tylenol and put Tyler Kolek in the game in the fourth quarter, and he delivered clutch pass in the end of the fourth quarter to OG Anunoby, drawing 2 and kicking out, getting a dagger 3 for the Knicks. The defense was there. The moxie was there. Tyler Kolek has earned his spot on the Knicks. I've been saying, you know what? Yeah, let's get Jose Alvarado here. The defense is there. The 3-point is there. I don't know, man. I'm changing my mind, bro. I was just like, when you see a guy step up like this in big moments, on a big stage, and you see the moxie that he had in Summer League carried over to a game like this that's important with money on the line, with his dad's car on the line, because now his dad got a car with that extra bonus money. When you see somebody step up like that, I'm like, dog, you deserve to be here, man. Screw. I love Jose Alvarado. The story is great. The Queens native here, but I don't know, man. I'm riding with Tyler. I changed my mind. I'm riding with Tyler. I just do. I don't know if anybody has anything else to say about that. And if I'm crazy, call me crazy, but I'm riding with Tyler. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I think there's something to say about continuity and being in the chat as always. And Ebony's the same way. Free as me, right? So why make a trade? But I don't think Jose Alvarado would disrupt chemistry, but losing Kolek might disrupt chemistry. You don't know the bonds that guys have in the locker room. And Kolek seems to be developing chemistry on the court with specific players as well. I think the 2-man game between him and Jalen Brunson was dangerous tonight. You having Brunson as a strainer opens things up for Kolek as well. So do you mess with that by trying to take him out and everything that he brings as a playmaker, which no slight to Jose Alvarado. Alvarado definitely a better lob thrower, one of the best lob throwers in the NBA. But I think as a table setter and someone to set up the offense, I think I'm going to give Kolek the edge. And that's what they were looking for with Brogdon, which is a high IQ, not very fast, not great lateral movement, but makes the right pass and makes the right read. Tyler Kolek, I think, fits that description. So if they don't make the move, that's a win. I don't think there's a way the Knicks can lose in this scenario, but I absolutely agree. Hitting the shots is the one thing that we didn't see from Kolek, and that dude is a dog. He lives for these moments. So, man, listen, let's keep the game together, and let's see what happens this summer. But right now, no moves. Let's move.
No, for real, no. This is not no second round pick for Tyler Kolek right now. I don't know if the second round pick is even the price if we even trade him. I'm not saying even trade him. I'm just saying. What's Fat Joe say? Yesterday's price
ain't today's price.
Is not today's price. For real.
Because at this point, yes, you get him. You get more than Jose Alvarado for him. That's what I think. He's young. And he seems ready for the moment. I think that was I'm big on that too. When I'm wrong, I'm wrong. And I'm always wrong about Tyler. I have not been right about him all year. Every time I count him out, he counts himself right back in. The first couple possessions, I was a little nervous for him because De'Aaron Fox is a good defender. And I felt like he was like, I'm going to pick on him. He's wasn't too familiar with his game, and he got real familiar later on in the game, just like the rest of the world did, because a lot of people were on notice today. Big game, a lot of people were watching at home. We were the only game on TV today, so I know there was a lot of people in attendance. So yes, there are a lot of NBA teams who were watching and was probably like, how much are they selling Tyler for? And we ain't selling him for nothing if you're not giving us 5 first rounds back that we did from
Facts. Coming back for blood.
But I saw him getting picked on early by De'Aaron Fox. I saw De'Aaron Fox try to come at his couple steals from him. He was a little bit hesitant because Wemby was under there, but he wasn't scared. And I still always what I say, I don't like when I watch players and they're a little hesitant. That was where I would have issues with Josh Hart in the beginning of the season, even with OG sometimes. I hate the hesitation. It kind of throws people off mentally. Mental is always a big thing for me. You got to mentally be ready and prepared. And he seemed that he was not only want to get his dad a car, but he looks like he wants to stay. He wants to stay for another run. And when I say run, he wants to get into the playoffs with us, and he wants to make the Eastern Conference again, and he wants to get to the NBA Finals. It looks like he's ready to do things like that. So I apologize once again. Tyler always shuts me up. Big shots. His 3-ball, again, little inconsistent, but we like to see him attempt them because they will fall eventually. And one big one did fall today. There was a time we needed a 3, and it went in. It's nice to see him that I saw him hesitate in the one time, and there was another floater that he had where he saw Wemby there and he hesitated, but he didn't stop attacking the paint. And that later on came in handy for us too. So my always big thing on my players too is heart and hustle. If you can have heart and hustle, the talent, the ball will drop. And I saw that with Tyler. He did not stop moving. He kept throwing the ball in bounds, whether we had some balls that were deflected, he kept getting them in bounds. He was there whenever we got some stops. He would throw his body in. He got that big charge, even though they threw that over, but that kind of changed the momentum because that would have been a 3-pointer for them. That kind of would have shifted the game a little bit. He just did things that shifted. And again, I don't think the box score shows enough because 14, I am shocked. I didn't know he had 14 points, but 5 rebounds, 5 assists. But I think he had one of those like 20-10 games. I thought he had a double-double at one point with how good he played. I just loved his momentum. Every time he came in, it seemed like something big happened. So shout out to Top.
Facts. Somebody said Giannis for Tyler Kolek straight up. I'm with you, bro. I'm with you. Take it or leave it. You want to rebuild your franchise? I'll give you Tyler. You give us Giannis. I call that a fair trade. All right. What you got, Ryan?
Definitely. So a few weeks ago, I made the hot take that Tyler Kolek would be the reason why the Knicks win at least one playoff game this upcoming playoffs. But it seemed like Kolek was like, you know what? I'm going to show up a bit early than the playoffs and show you what I'm about in big moments. And that's what he showed us tonight. Tyler Kolek is a big game performer. And I think that we saw glimpses of it early in the season from the time with Malcolm Brogdon, you know, when he was fighting with Malcolm Brogdon for the spot. Michael Brogdon retired, and he had an opportunity to take that next step to seal that backup point guard position, which he did in the preseason. And there were also sprinkles of, you know, that heart in his game throughout the regular season. He definitely showed up tonight. 14 points, 5 rebounds, 5 assists, 2 big 3-pointers. At the end of the game, you know, like Lee mentioned earlier, when they were pressuring Brunson and Mike Brown brought back in Kolek, you know, to be extra ball handler on the court. You know, I think he even had a big play, even in late game situation as well, where he had that pass to OG in the corner for a big 3 to help Knicks seal this game. So you have to give Kolek his props. If you have any question that he sealed that, you know, that if he deserved to be the backup point guard for this team, he sealed it tonight because he showed up big in big game moments. And that's the type of player you need coming off the bench for big body Brunson when he needs his rest.
Yeah, for sure. And Lee, I want to ask you a question, Lee, because you was talking about the coaching, and I the coaching to me tonight was next level. The balls to even play Tyler Kolek over Mikal Bridges in the fourth quarter, it takes some stones to do that. They preach sacrifice, they preach it, but watching it in real time when you have a second-year player playing over the guy who cost us 5 picks, that's some stones. Because if it doesn't work, everybody looks at you and go, what are you doing, Mike Brown? You're the worst coach ever. But when it works, you look like a damn genius, all right? And it worked today. So what are your thoughts on the coaching today, Lee?
I thought this was the best game Mike Brown has coached. This is the best regular season game I've seen a Knicks coach the team in my entire fandom. Now, Tom Thibodeau in the playoffs last year was dynamite, but in the regular season, I cannot recall a game where I felt like every adjustment was the right adjustment. In the first half, we really got killed on closeouts. Stephon Castle and Dylan Harper were just putting the ball on the floor. It didn't matter if it was Josh Hart or Mikal Bridges or Brunson. They were getting cooked. But to notice that as Clarkson started becoming hot, I told you I'm not worried too much about Clarkson. He's there for a reason. If he's on, we're winning because it's all bonus. He saw that Clarkson and Kolek were actually doing well, containing that dribble penetration, attacking closeouts on the Spurs. So he trusted, okay, that can be my defensive line, because right now, I thought Cat did a pretty good job when he was on an island with Wemby in the post, but also at the level. I thought anything at the level, and he did get in drop, but drop was purposeful in this game. That was the steam in the beginning to try to close out on the rim and not give them easy dribble penetration. They still did, because they're so good at passing and along the baseline and finding the lobs and finding the cutters. But I thought that adjustment of keeping Cat at the 5 and having the 3 guards, knowing that they could protect the 3-point line. And if we protect them from shooting threes, we can beat them 2 points to 2 points or 3 points to 2 points. That won the game. And that was Mike Brown's adjustments. Those changes and the trust that he had in a second-year guy in Tyler Kolek and someone who was really bad in the first quarter in Jordan Clarkson, defensively and offensively. He was getting attacked off ball screens. But to be able to know, okay, you might be failing on the ball screen coverage and pick and roll coverage, but you're able to continue to close out. That's a sacrifice you make as a coach, to trust that you don't be the next man up in the rotation. You come in and do your job, and we did, and we won.
Yeah.
My biggest adjustment that I like, I don't know if I just caught it in the last few games, but my biggest one is every time in the first quarter when the team goes on a run, he immediately calls a timeout. He does not wait for that run to be extended. He immediately calls a timeout. And I've seen that in the last 2 games. I think because the other games we've been coming off really hot, so timeouts weren't necessarily needed. But the last 2 games, I realized, I think it was last 3 games, we were kind of getting beat up in the beginning. Teams were just coming out hot. And that timeout, when we come back and we respond, has been the biggest eye opener for me. And I like that timeout in the beginning, that he doesn't allow the bleeding to just for us to bleed out pretty much. And one thing, again, I know you guys say Tibbs, but one thing I can say in memory of Tibbs, you listen to the game, and Mike Brown listened to the game. So that was very big of him to listen to the game today, to see that, no, Mikal Bridges isn't working today. And we know typically Mikal Bridges will work, but it just wasn't his day. Every guy has their off day, has off moments, because Mikal has been a little bit shaky these last few games. And he decided to put, this is also why I preach keep the team together, because this is the type of things that later on in the season would help the team put confidence into your players. And Tyler Kolek understood today, my number was called. My coach believes in me. I can step up, make big moments. And Mikal understood that. That's where you also have one of your best players understand that, you know what, not my night tonight. And this is why we have a team. This is why we built this type of team. And give the opportunity of others to step up. Because I don't think Mikal felt any way about it. I think a lot of people, if you're new to the locker room and you feel like I came for this reason and that's something like that happened to you, you kind of take that offensive. You're like, wait, then you guys bring me here to do this and do that. But Mikal understands that I was brought here to do my job. And if I'm not doing my job today, hey, I got to let somebody else step up. And shout out to him for allowing other people to listen to the game, and also for others to build their confidence.
Yeah, definitely. Mike Brown coached an outstanding game tonight. You have to give him his props. He did a great job, and I did think it took a lot of balls to keep Clarkson in the game, because the first 3 quarters I was about fed up with Clarkson. I was like, yo, we need to get this guy out of the game.
I had the trade papers ready. Yeah,
yeah, for real. But
chill.
I'm joking.
But then the fourth quarter came and something just clicked in Clarkson, and he turned the F up in that fourth quarter, hitting those big threes, guarding the perimeter. It was a different player. It was like night and day from the first 3 quarters to that fourth quarter with Clarkson. And then the balls will pay Kolek late when you know that your starting lineup is Bridges and Hart in the starting lineup. He eventually did bring back in Hart, but he brought back Hart in pretty late in the game, and then Bridges, he just kept on the bench in the fourth quarter because Bridges wasn't playing well in this game. And it was just an amazing game overall. You know, Lee and B pretty much covered every single thing with the adjustments that Mike Brown made in this game. And Mike Brown just showing us that in the regular season, like, he was just cruising. Like, he wasn't showing all his cards yet, but he showed some of his cards in this game, and he's showing us that in the big moments when it matters, especially when the playoffs coming up, he's going to make those big adjustments that's needed, and he's going to have the balls to make moves that's going to help this team rather than just sticking to status quo. So I'm glad to see that, and big on Mike Brown today.
Yeah, I got a couple more adjustments I want to point out. One of the big adjustments I realized was the shout out to the Spurs and shout out to Castle, because when Castle gets a pick and he turns that corner, it was pretty much an automatic 2 points every time. Facts. He turned the corner, lobbed it to Cornette, and that same play worked like 3, 4, 5 times, and I was just like, what the hell is going on? And there was a point where he wasn't even looking to score. He just full speed hit the pick, threw it up to Cornette, and it was a bucket. And I felt like we was kind of playing reactive, and then coach called timeout, and then from then on he started jumping those screens and being super aggressive, like getting like just kind of making him give up the ball early to just kind of blow up that whole action of I'm just pick and roll and lobbing to Cornette. I liked how he adjusted to that. I liked how he adjusted to the closeouts, because before I felt like they would get into the paint, 2 feet into the paint, and they would just kick it out for 3. It'll be an automatic 3. That was what they was doing for the whole first quarter, and I felt like the Knicks adjusted. I didn't see them do that for most of the games since the second quarter on. I felt like the Knicks did a really good job being more disciplined in they're helping out in the paint and then closing out. And in the offensive rebounding, it's like, even though the Spurs still got a lot of offensive rebounds, I still feel like we started doing a better job as the game going on, offensive rebounding the ball. And I don't even think you can mention offensive rebounding without mentioning Mitchell Robinson, because this is one of the pivotal parts of this game now. We're in a dogfight. Karl-Anthony Towns scores a bucket. He gets to the bench. He's clutching his calf. I'm scared because I'm thinking, is this an injury? Is he even coming back in the game? Insert Mitchell Robinson, who proceeds to have a 10 offensive rebound game and also raises his stock. If there's anybody still doubting why Mitch is so important, this is one of those games that shows you why Mitch is so important. He has a 10 offensive rebound game, and you know what? Wemby's going to do Wemby. He got off on Mitchell sometimes, but he also held his own against Wemby as well. It wasn't a mixed bag. Wemby had to think when Mitch was out there. And this is why Mitch Robinson is here, and why you can't trade him for a bag of nickels. so once again, shout out, respect all to Mitch Robinson and the coaching staff for all the adjustments they had. And I never trade Mitch, man. We got to keep that man in the Knicks uniform.
Trade Mitch, man, 100%. This is why I'm always like, no matter what, I don't care what trade scenario you're doing, just don't include Mitchell Robinson in it, because he's a championship player, and he has shown his value is when the game is at its most important, at its most critical. He actually, I would consider himself to have a very high basketball IQ when it comes down to crunch time. And I love the development, the two-man development he had with Clarkson. He knew what Clarkson was going to be on those spray outs every single time he grabbed those offensive boards that broke the bat in the spirit of a San Antonio Spurs. And I also had this quick decision-making when he got the offensive board to put it right back up too. Like, he's becoming really dangerous around as a hub around that rim to either, if he's doubled and then try to block it, because Wemby's unbelievable. When they have a double bid, they're super unbelievable. Knowing when to double up and put it back in, and knowing when to spray it out. And you know what? We got caught in a lot of his actions on baseline. That lob play that you're talking about, I don't even put a lot of blame on Cat for that. I mean, if Cat's not in there with Mitch, how is he going to be guarding 2 on the screen?
Nah, it's not Cat's fault at all.
You have one guy that's super fast, driving downhill, and the other who's a championship backup center that is one of the best lob threats in the NBA. Like, I mean, that's not Cat's fault, but that play was killing us over and over again. But I thought that Mike Brown did the adjustment of always having a secondary rebounder in there and a defender in there around the paint, pulling that guy back in and saying, we'll live with a Harrison Barnes 3 or a Fox 3, but we're not going to let them do that lob play to where they can really run up the game and go to the free throw line if they do foul and give them an advantage there.
Facts.
I do want to give a mini highlight if we're going to talk about bigs real quick to Hulk Porty. He only played 2 minutes, but they were a very crucial 2 minutes when we did have to sit down Karl Towns for a little bit and Mitch Robinson for a little bit. Yes, by the way, someone shouted out. I checked. I forgot. I didn't realize he had 10 offensive rebounds, but he had that in 18 minutes. He had 15 rebounds in 18 minutes. I don't know where you're finding a center who can do that, especially how efficient. And we always talk about the impact that they make when they're doing it. Mitch Robinson got a lot of offensive boards when we needed them, and I think he got a couple where there was one where it led to an OG 3 that we really needed that 3 at that time. So I can't emphasize enough what Mitch does in his little bit of time that he is playing for us. Shout out to Mike Brown. Let's go back to that real quick for him playing Mitch in these little minutes, because I know a lot of people kept insinuating this is why we want to trade Mitch. He's injury prone, but he's making sure Mitch is not going to be injured by the playoff time, because he is doing a minute restriction this year. If you guys notice again, Mitch is not very playing 20-25 minutes a game. He's always in the teens, and it's because I believe that Mike Brown is trying to make sure he gets us to the playoffs, because this is the type of guy we need come playoff time. So Mitch Robinson, I also like the fact that he was looking to put back some shots today. That's also very rare. I see Mitch Robinson get a lot of rebounds and he wants to throw it out quick, rebound, throw it out quick. A couple times he looked to go to attack the basket, so I like that a lot. I love Mitch, and I like the blocks. There was a few blocks that he had during the game today too that were big. There was a big block that he had that sent it out. There's not much you could say. I think Tyler Kolek said it himself, who's the most underappreciated Nick or something. There was a question of that sort.
Yeah, I saw
and
that.
Saying Mitch Robinson. I think as us fans, we get bored very quickly. Mitch's been with us for so long, and he's been through those nasty lineups. He's been through those times you turn on TV and you're like, what the heck? He's been through those times where we don't even know if we're gonna make the playoffs, let alone contend in the playoffs. And this is what you do for players like that. You pay them off. I don't know how we're going to get him. I don't know if we're going to get him, but I know that we have him now, and you keep him for now, and you worry about now. And right now, we need a type of guy like this to contend if we want to play teams like, if we're going to see teams like San Antonio possibly in the playoff, in the East, in the finals. We won't see these type of teams in the getting there, but you never know. This is a team that, again, Lee gave them the early nod that they could shock and they could possibly get there. So
definitely,
you need a Mitch Robinson, because there's some things, unfortunately, that you can play as good as you want, but Luke Cornett and Wemby are hard to contain when they're throwing lobs up there. It's just not really much that you can possibly do.
Facts.
Except like Mike Brown said, put your hands down and pray. Because there was times Wemby missed. He did miss a couple putbacks. There was like 2 or 3 putbacks he missed that I was like, whew,
Word.
bullet there. But there's times too he's catching from the back, throwing it down, and I'm like, how do you stop that? You just can't. There's nothing you can really do. They're both 7-footers. You're taking out one 7-footer, another foot. And I made a little joke like, if only we had a 7-footer we could lob to. But there's differences in it. It's just not the type of guy that you just. I know he likes to throw lobs up there, but Luke Cornett and Wemby are a different type of guys that you lob to. You have that luxury where you could just throw it up and they will catch it and lob it down. Because even Cat threw a lob up to him, and I'm like, who do you think Mitch is? Like, you think that he's Wemby and Luke? Like, he threw it up there, and Mitch tried. He tried, but Mitch is just not on that same level. So it's just nice to just see that there's good things, but then there's greater things. And I think the great thing about us is that we have a lot of different bodies too, as much as they do. And we were able to have the luxury of taking Cat out, and shout out to Cat, he did play great on him, and put Mitch in. Take Mitch out and have OG there, and take even Hulk Porty and put him in, even if it was for that 1 or 2 minutes. But those 1 or 2 minutes he played today were very vital and very important. He stopped a shot from going in. He hustled down to get a steal, to get that dunk by OG. And these are things that you want to see from your players when, again, just step up, putting that battery in your team's back and showing them, I'm confident in you. We need a moment. And I think that a lot of people stepped up to the moment today, besides Mikal, but we won't get into that too.
Yeah, definitely. And I'm just going to say my 2 cents on Mitch. Of course, this is the last year of Mitch's contract, and the Knicks front office and Mitch have yet to come to an agreement on extension. Well, I don't know what's the hold up with the extension, but if the Knicks front office is on the fence, deciding whether to sign Mitch or not, after this game, they're going to have no choice but to give Mitch what he wants, because he's shown tonight that in big games, he can make a crucial impact on the game, and he doesn't have to score the ball to do so or anything of that nature. Everything he does is on defense and rebounding. I know there's other bigs in the league that can grab offensive rebounds, at a decent rate, but nobody in the league can grab offensive rebounds at the rate that Mitch does. 10 offensive rebounds in 18 minutes is crazy. No, there's no way else to put it. That is insane. And the fact that not only does he crash the offensive boards and has the wherewithal to spread out the shooters and give Knicks second chance opportunities, but also the fact that defensively he's solid. Like, yeah, Wemby scored him a few times, but honestly, like, who's really going to be guarding Wemby at the 3-point line? And Wemby's getting buckets. Like, nobody is at the height of Wemby to even challenge that shot to begin with. So yeah, he got burned by Wemby a few times, but
he challenged a couple of shots too. That's the thing.
Yeah, that's what he did, challenge a few shots as well, but he held his own. And if there's ever a game to show Mitch's worth to the Knicks, tonight's game was one of the games that shows how much of a weapon he can be for the Knicks, especially when he's on these games. So, you have to big up Mitch because he had one hell of a game tonight.
It's gonna be rough. It's gonna be rough for the front office because Mitch is Mitch, and Deuce McBride is having his best season as a Knick. Period. I was looking at some stats randomly. He's like, I don't know if this is recently, but he said he had like a top 10 offensive rating in the NBA according to NBA.com. And I don't know if that's overall or for like a short span, but I was like, whoa. I already knew he was already at 45% from three, Deuce. But I'm like, both of these guys deserve money. They straight up just do. So
at the end of the day, I'm not going to advocate for any player not getting paid and not staying with us, but you have to pay and keep the guy who is hard to replace. So you look at both players, say which one's hard to replace, which one's more of an anomaly in the NBA. And I think the easy answer to that is Mitchell Robinson. So you got to find a way to be able to keep both. I'm just happy we have Brock Aller in the front office, because if anyone can finagle that, it's him. But I think why Mitch is so important and why I've been advocating, I've been debating with y'all in the group chat, been debating on Twitter, is the three teams that I think are the biggest, let's say four, the biggest threats in the NBA this season for us to potentially meet in the finals. You got the Houston Rockets, the San Antonio Spurs, the Denver Nuggets, and the OKC Thunder. Yeah. Those four teams that I just named, they're four of the top 7 teams, rebounding teams in the NBA. And of those, the Houston Rockets are the number 1 offensive rebounding team. We're third. And then in defensive rebounding, OKC is number 1 in the NBA. And why I'm saying those is because that's an advantage to us. Because if you go against a team who their identity is rebounding, whether it be offense or defense, and you break their spirit in one of their best metrics, that their identity, if you bend that and break it and say, actually, we're better at you than this, and we're going to dominate the boards, and they're used to doing that in a 7-team series, that's one of the ways you get into their head. You break their spirit, and you win the series. And Mitch is the only one on this roster who has the capacity to do that beyond head-to-head. Cat's great, Hart's great, but Mitch is different. Mitch can do it in such a small sample size that he can come in there and stare the absolute dog doo-doo out of Chet Holmgren or Isaiah Hartenstein or Rudy Gobert or even Nikola Jokic, because they don't have another guy on the bench who come in and do the same thing. So that is such an X factor you cannot take lightly, and you got to pay the man. Never trade Mitch.
By the way, he is number 7 in offensive rating. That is not a
Deuce?
Yes. Jalen Brunson is 5th.
Woo! This Knicks team, man, top 3. We were top 2 offense in the league. Are we doing this against the Spurs? I'm curious to see what happens when we hit these other teams like the Detroit Pistons, like the Denver Nuggets, like the OKC Thunder. I'm really curious to see how we play those teams, especially considering the identity. I feel like this is a good win because this is going to be one of those teams that can wear down Jalen Brunson, and we found a way to win. We found a way to get other people involved so we don't have to depend so much on Jalen Brunson starting every single action. And the fact that we're successful today is like a little bit of a proof of concept that we can do this against other teams who can wear down Jalen Brunson, which is why, even though this game doesn't count on the books of as far as record, mentally, this is like a footnote. Okay. This is the thing that works with these teams. You get another ball handler in here, whether it be Mikal Bridges, whether it be Tyler Kolek. We get contributions from the corner wings, and we can use this formula. We can bring it against these other top teams, and see what happens. This is building faith. This is building blocks that the Knicks can have a championship this season. This is why I really love this chip win. This win against the Spurs team. For real.
Stephon Castles.
By the way, someone said that JB had that block today. Oh my God, that had me so happy. It was on Luke Cornett too, by the way.
Yeah, Too little. All right. Ryan. I need your opinion on OG Anunoby, man.
OG Anunoby.
Yeah, I don't think we win this game with OG, man. I don't think we do. I don't think we win this game without my Geek Squad guy, OG Anunoby.
Yeah, I mean, look, I know Jalen Brunson won NBA Cup MVP, but if there was an MVP for a single game, it definitely should go to OG Anunoby because he played one hell of a game tonight. And it's not even like the Knicks called plays for him. Everything is just off of just off of play, pretty much, and him just being in the right positions at the right times. His cuts to the rim, and then guys just finding him. Like, for example, that cat pass in the first quarter was freaking crazy.
What?
To put OG under the basket. I was like, I don't even know how we made that pass. I was like, yo, what is going on? And of course, OG excellent defensively as well. He had some huge blocks in this game, also defending the rim on a few drives by the Spurs, especially since the Spurs guards are just attacking the paint at will. And yeah, OG sent a couple of shots back. Defensively, he was solid. Hit big 3-point shots, especially that big 3-point shot in the fourth quarter to help seal the game for the Knicks. And yeah, OG, he had one hell of a game, and he's showing why he's getting paid the money he's being paid as well, because he looked like a player that's like a second option on the team tonight. Although he's not really the second option per se, but he looked like a legit guy that you can go to get some points for you on the board. So both sides of the ball, he played well. And yeah, OG for me was the MVP tonight.
Yeah, I just like the type of shots he was hitting too, because there was a couple of shots he hit where it looked like there was nothing going. And he's like, you know what? I'm going to just bang this 3 in your eye, and that'll be that. And he did it like 3 times. When he add that with the defense, he's like, man, OG Anunoby could have easily been had the MVP today, like easily, and no one would have batted an eye, and no one would have like pushed back. The dude has 28 points, and probably was the most efficient Knick with the 28 points today. So that's exactly why Jalen Brunson shouted him out first.
Exactly. He knew. I agree 100%. I thought OG was the MVP because of a two-way play. The same way that I thought Stephon Castle might have played Jalen Brunson better than anyone I've ever seen play. He has. Not even close. He took away his space, and he really he moved him away from his driving lanes to where he had to create actions further away and in spots that he's not super comfortable starting actions in, which caused the entire offense to have to shift with him. I was like, Stephon Castle may take away all of his breathing space and force him into a really awful shooting night. I believe the total was like 11 of 27, 1 of 5. But on the flip side, I thought OG Anunoby, everyone that he switched on to, he locked them up too. It's like, all right, De'Aaron Fox going off. I'll do on De'Aaron Fox a little while and slow him down. Most importantly, Devin Vassell, who's kind of their X factor. If he goes off, very likely the Spurs are going to win. And I thought he played excellent defense on the minutes that he was darting him one-on-one or in team helps teams. OG Anunoby was everywhere, and no one benefits from this wheel system more than OG and Mikal Bridges. Their constant cutting, constant relocation of shooters off ball and on ball are 2 of the biggest cogs in this Mike Brown's wheel offense working. And shout out for OG, always knowing how to get into that corner when he's going to be open on that kick out. Dude nails it. Unbelievable game.
Hold on, before you go, B, just explain what the wheel offense is for the people, because I know there's a lot of new people here, and they're like, "What the hell is a wheel offense?" Go ahead.
It's something that Mike Brown. It's very similar to a motion offense or a Princeton offense. Mike Brown initiated with Chris Gent. It's basically the framework that we saw in Sacramento. It's heavy on cuts. It's heavy on dribble handoffs, and it's heavy on relocation for the shooters as well. So if Jalen Brunson's operating at the top of the tee, Cat sets a pick, there's going to be 3 other things that are happening around it. Not every single possession the same thing, but if guys sees their teammate moving, they're going to move and then relocate into their space and then cut in the baseline. You see OG and Josh Hart do that constantly, Mikal Bridges as well. So it's had a lot of off-ball motion where guys are filling positions and roles rather than I'm on ball. This time it's my time. Let me take the shot. This time it's going to be my time. It's more about sharing, constant passing and constant motion, both on and off ball.
Thank you, Lee. Right, go ahead, B.
I do want to give a shout out to the 9 rebounds. I know we always see the biggest stats, just 28 points. He's very good at that, but he got 9 boards too. So Shout out to 9 boards. But I always have this conversation with myself. I'm like, who's better, Mikal or OG? And then OG has games like this where I'm like, he is clearly a little bit better than Mikal.
Oh, that's
I was
tough.
having this conversation with Lee about someone else, but we won't bring those names up. And I'm like, I ran track, and 0.5 milliseconds matters in track, and the same thing it matters in NBA. That millisecond, he's a little bit better than Mikal Bridges. Because I know a lot of people talk about his contract, but the same way we could talk about other players, the same way we could talk about OG. There's not a lot of OGs walking around in this league.
Yeah.
Not only can this guy shoot, but he can play defense, and not just any old defense. Someone asked where De'Aaron Fox. OG had De'Aaron Fox. That's what the issue had with De'Aaron Fox was. OG had a lot of people in moments where that's another adjustment that I like that Mike Brown makes. When he sees someone going off, he will then pull out his. It's like that card that you play when Yu-Gi-Oh. What was that black hole card? You throw that black hole card and it was over for you. I know, right? You know what I'm talking about. You throw that card down and it's over for you, and that's where OG comes into play. Whenever someone is just going off, that's what happens. And there was a time where De'Aaron Fox came out in the third quarter, and I was like, oh man, if he's gonna have this, because there's always players you can't stop Wimby, but you can't allow De'Aaron Fox to go off too if Castle is also getting whatever he wants. So it was nice to see OG just be worth what he's worth. I don't know. Again, if somebody in the chat can name me 10 players that can shoot the ball, attack the basket, and play defense, I will say that OG is overpaid, but I think he is respectfully paid what he deserves, because you don't have a lot of him walking around. I know he's also another one where you talk about his injuries, but the thing about OG is he's doing injury a year, and the injury we already got it out the way. We got the injury out the way. You know, it's very
exactly.
You know, we don't ever like the injury bug. Hopefully, Karl Towns is good as well. But typically, OG deals with an injury in a year, and we got it out early on in the year. So I'm okay with OG's contract. I never had a problem with it. And I'm glad that he's back, and he's also playing well, because there was also in the last game where he got up and someone was like, how did you get up so high? And he's like, I'm pretty athletic. It's nice to see that what injury was it again?
Hamstring.
The hamstring, yes. And that you need so it's nice to see him getting up. It's nice to see him shooting the ball well. Typically those type of injuries are difficult for him to finish the basket the way he is, getting down the court, finishing them from those steals that we're getting. But yeah, I think it's clear today. The last 2 games, I'm gonna stop having the conversation with myself. Who's better? It's OG. OG is better than Mikal. And to me, I like the fact that we have that luxury now. Last year, it was Herro ball a lot, and I didn't have a problem with it, because in Jalen, I trust. I don't ever have a problem if you're gonna put the ball in Jalen's hand and ask him to. He's the captain to conduct the ship. However, that's where we fell to last year. We relied on him too much, and there's games like this where. Yeah, he still had 25, but he worked for every bucket. Like, it was so hard for Jalen to get into a groove. And I told the chat, I don't know if anybody else noticed it, they had a lot of bodies on him. They kept throwing Fox at him, then they threw Castle at him, then they would throw with somebody else. And that's where I can give credit to their coach, because once Jalen Brunson gets comfortable with a defender and he knows what you're going to do, he starts to cook. And that's why he's smart. He's very smart. He started to get busy in that kitchen. Yeah, like
did in the fourth quarter.
You're gonna keep Fox on me? All right, this is what Fox is gonna do. And he gets cooking. But then, as soon as he got comfortable with Fox, he would then throw Castle back on him, or he would throw Seli, or he would even throw. I think there was that point where Dylan Harper played him too.
Yeah.
And it's hard for anybody to get into a group, because you're not understanding. Thank you, baby. You don't understand the tendencies of that player. So yet, once you start to understand the other person, so when you see Jalen Brunson, that's where we kind of fell in the Pacers thing too. They kept throwing Nimhard on him, then they would have Halliburton on him, then they would have the other guy, Mather, and they just kept throwing different bodies at him, and it was hard for Jalen to get into a groove. And I saw that today. I'm like, I thought we were going to fall short because of that. But then I forgot this is why we keep this team together, because teams get you very crucial wins. And that's where you need the OG and Karl Towns, because Karl Towns cooked in his own right too. He has some big buckets. And
oh my God,
Dirk Nowitzki fade away. He has some big buckets at some times. That 3 that he started off the game with, but you need players like then OG to step up. So to me, I like the fact that we have that luxury this year, because if it wasn't Brunson, I was always looking at Towns last year. It was very rare that I was looking at Mikal or OG offensively. I was always like, if they do it, cool. If they don't, But now this year is clearly to see that they will. It's not a question mark. It's about who it's going to be this night. And the fact that we have, thank you, baby. The fact that we have that luxury of who is more going to step up outside of Brunson and Cat, it's nice to have that. So I have no problem with anything that OG does. I'm actually very happy that he's now getting comfortable. It was 10 for 17. That's beautiful. 5 for 10. That's beautiful. 3 for 5. We'll get to the free throws. I always appreciate that. Free throws.
Yes, you do.
They kill me because we could have, again, yes, there were times where we could have been up by a little bit more if we hit the free throws. But other than that, I don't have anything against them. I like, I think his fouls were reasonable. There wasn't stupid fouls, silly fouls. It was him just trying to defend. And sometimes, you get into some situations. But OG, I think he's worth the bag and he got a little bit more money today and he deserves it.
Yeah.
May I add one thing?
Yeah, sure.
One shout out my pops who made an observation. I thought it was a really great one. He played basketball. I have not, so he's got a better eye test than me. But he noticed that Mikal Bridges wasn't helping Jalen Brunson when Jalen Brunson was getting doubled and blitz. So I think that's one of the reasons why Bridges got set. And he said that's why Tyler Kolek came in to have another
That's
ball there to where Brunson can not just be on ball, but also be used as a screener, which opens things up for both Kolek and Jordan Clarkson as well. So shout out my pops for the great eye test. I told him I was going to shout him out on my KOT show because he had a great take.
Now, that's right. That's exactly why I led the show with what I said. I led the show talking about how Jalen Brunson needs to be off ball more because of what Castle was doing to him. They started out trying to do that with Mikal Bridges, and they ended up with Tyler Kolek for that very reason, because we need to have him off ball. He needed help, and that's why Tyler Kolek helps get one of the game balls today, because he absolutely helped them. Also, just one stat for OG Anunoby. Number 12 in net rating in the NBA for OG Anunoby. He might be higher if he didn't miss all that time. And also, I want to get to Cat real quick. I'm gonna say this, man. I've been killing Cat's defense for years.
Ooh.
One of the reasons I was even hesitant to have Cat be a New York Knick was because I knew how his defense was the biggest question mark for me. Over the past week, I can say now, I can start to feel comfortable saying that I feel like Cat has turned the corner defensively. I don't think I've seen him play this many consecutive games playing solid defense without super crazy silly fouls. Now he's gonna have some a couple of times, but I haven't seen this much consistent defensive efforts from Cat for a week or two straight all last season. Today I thought he was freaking phenomenal. I'm noticing how he's been stunting, recovering. He's been walling up really good. He's been shuffling his feet against penetrators where where they couldn't get by him. Even Wemby tried to get by him. He stopped him cold in his tracks. His verticality has gotten so much better where he's jumping up and down and not getting fouls. I don't know what they're feeding him, but he's grown leaps and bounds defensively from the start of the season to this season. Mike Brown has had the acumen of being a defensive coach, and I was like, all right, prove it. And he's proven it, because Cat has officially turned the corner to me defensively. And I think with Cat playing the defense that he's been playing, I feel like a championship for the Knicks is that much more a reality. Because to me, a lot of the problems why we were talking about trading for Giannis was because there's a big question mark. Can you have Cat and Jalen Brunson play together and be whole defensively? And if Cat is going to play this type of defense for the entire season and the playoffs, I think you kind of qualm those fears. So I don't know. Screw the points. Screw all that stuff. The defense from Cat is I'm loving it right now. That's it.
No, I think he kind of, like you said, it hasn't been a couple games. It's been a few games now. I think the narrative could be killed for a little bit until he starts having again another slump where he has a couple more games where he's showing that he's not. This is just a fluke. But I think he already kind of set a lot of people up, because it hasn't been just last game and this game. It's been about 5 or 6 games, almost I could say like the last 7 games we've been watching that he has shown. I like the on ball, but the help defense has been amazing. He's there. He's just, I just see effort, and there's little things that I would continuously preach on the show. Oh, you can ask your players to get better. Not everybody is going to make big leaps. You're not always going to have a player who comes in and now all of a sudden defensive player of the year, Karl-Anthony Towns. Like that's not realistic. However, you can ask Karl Towns to stop doing silly fouls and just, if you're not going to stay in front of your man, be there for your guys then. And those are things that I've noticed tremendously. The silly fouls, I never thought that it was his IQ. I always thought that, to me, I think he's getting more comfortable in the system. I know a lot of people talked about his body language in the beginning of the year, like, oh, I don't look like he doesn't seem like he's ready, but he's also shooting the ball better. And I think when he gets to play his game, he gets to do the other thing. And I think now that his shot's falling and now that he's getting better rhythm offensively, he's able to now work on something that isn't so natural to him. Because offense is natural to that's what he's known for. He's known to be an offensive guy. So I think once he's able to just not worry so much about the offense, I'm not shocked that the defense comes together now. And that's what I think the biggest thing. I think that was our biggest issue. I think that he, in the beginning of the season, he was trying to figure out, okay, how can I get my offense going? And then when you're mentally trying to figure that out and then work on something that you're not naturally good at, that you have to put a little more effort in, it's going to look really shitty. And then coming off the last season that he had where defense was terrible, I would probably give it a D. I wouldn't give it a full F because there were moments he had, but I would give it a D to now. I think it is a big leap. I'll give him a B+ right now. I wouldn't give it an A just yet, but I think that his defense is now in the B range, and I think that was why I continuously preach that do not make any significant changes just yet. Give teams like this an opportunity. He's a player that you can't move them just because they have a couple bad games. You have to give guys like him some time because the talent is there. That's nothing that's never been questioned to me. I watched Karl Towns since college. He was he was on one of the best college teams that we've ever seen. And that's where I got put on notice. He was actually one of the best players on that loaded team. And from there, when Minnesota still stole him, I'm like, dang, I don't really like Minnesota's organization, as you guys know. I was kind of sad that he went there, but I was impressed that he actually put them on the map before Anthony Edwards got there. He was a team that made Minnesota a little bit relevant for these last 3 years because of how good he is. And for the fact that he was another player that never had good rosters around him. I think a lot of people seem to forget that too. Yet he did push them to many times making playoffs consistently, even to get into the Western Conference Finals. So I'm not shocked that he came to a team that is kind of well put around him and able to show up. So that's why I want us to keep Towns. If whatever after, but right now we have this guy, and all we can ask this guy is to just continuously show up, try and get a little bit better. And I think that he's gotten a little bit better from last year. I'm not a big stat watcher, as you guys know too, so I don't care about the stats. If his points per game go down a little bit, his rebounds per game go down a little bit, that's fine. But if you're now getting a defensive cat,
I don't care.
You got to keep him. You got to keep him. You got to run it back with this type of guy because I think this team is built for a guy like him.
We know Tom Thibodeau, who's a Hall of Fame, excellent, great elite coach. But he got fired partially because of a lack of flexibility, not taking out other voices, not accepting other voices in the room. And that's why Leon Rose was so adamant this person needed to be a collaborator. So shout out Brendan O'Connor, who is our defensive coordinator, was hired and chosen by Mike Brown and Leon Rose to be defensive architect, where last year we kind of just had Rick Brunson and Mark Bryant just kind of like adding things, and Tibbs basically was in control of the defense. And when you only have one person through one person's purview and point of view, you can make mistakes and adjustments can't be made in game. You might make the next game, but that might be too late. And I like that we're making adjustments on the fly. Right. I think that's a lot to do because I see Brandon O'Connor up and I remember his face because he was an assistant coach in the worst season of my entire life, 05 to 06. He was on my Knicks staff. And I'm glad that he's back under completely different circumstances. Dolan's still here, but the losing isn't. So welcome back to the team now that we're winning. And he's a big part of it because we've seen multiple guys, Jay Ellis, get better on defense.
Yes.
Jalen Brunson get better on defense.
Yes.
We've seen Tyler Kolek get better on defense. Now we're seeing Karl-Anthony Towns get better. Oh, and Josh Hart return to form on defense. So I think that he can be credited. He has to for actually installing a system and having part of the practice, running through drills and running through rotations and schemes to get this down to where it's in game, it's repetitious, and it's in the flow. So shout out Brandon O'Connor and unheralded. You know me, I always love shouting out the end of the bench assistant coaches. So hey, he's obviously doing a good job because we're seeing the work in real time.
Yeah, I just want to add one thing because when I do think about Karl-Anthony Towns under Thibs and now under Mike Brown, it doesn't make me wonder if the practices has something to do with Karl-Anthony Towns and other players improving defensively, because under Thibs, and I'm speaking more so about Karl-Anthony Towns, because under Thibs, we know last season the Knicks didn't have a lot of practices. Thibs instead used the time up between games for his players to rest, as opposed to like having practice to have guys go through drills, defensive schemes and things of that nature. And now this season, we know Mike Brown is pretty much the opposite. Mike Brown actually runs practices where you guys, go through repetitions. You go through defensive schemes over and over again and things of that nature. I'm wondering if that's having an impact on Karl-Anthony Towns' defense this season, and it's starting to come around now, where it's like, as the season goes on, he's improving defensively along with other guys on the team as well. I'm wondering if that is having an impact on his defense as a whole. But in this game, he definitely played well defensively. He had a good game, 16 points, 11 rebounds, double-double. Cat is always good for that. But defensively, I think is where he's been showing the most improvement. And I mean, the Knicks, like if Karl-Anthony Towns drops, a 20 and 10, that's always great. That's always needed. That's always welcome. But the games where he actually puts his foot down defensively and decides to step in your neck on the defense side of the ball as opposed to the offense side of the ball, I think with that coming from Cat, that's special, because that's not something that he's used to doing, especially knowing the reputation he's had throughout his career as somebody that's not really a good defender. So you just hope that as the season goes on, he continues to show that effort on defense and continues to improve on defense. And if we get the Cat that, is going to play defense along with dropping a double-double in the game, then yeah, this Knicks team is pretty much complete.
Yeah. Two-way Cat is dangerous. You want to say something, BFIB?
No, that's what she said. No, I did want to say, two-way Cat is dangerous. I did want to say too, I wanted to give a little bit, because I was a big Tibbs fan. I realized over the years with Tibbs, because one thing I do when we do get a new coach, I like to do my homework on them. Shout out to Lee, always helping me make sure I do your homework. I've been doing my homework on Mike Brown. So by the way, that didn't shock me that he sat Mikal Bridges, because if you guys do a little bit of homework on Mike Brown, he made a big coaching move in a key game where he sat Kobe Bryant. So if Kobe Bryant could get sat, Mikal Bridges could get sat. But Tom Thibodeau is a guy who sets the tempo. I seen him do it with the Chicago Bulls. I see him do it even with the Minnesota Timberwolves, and then I see him do it with us. He's a guy who would get you there, and but he won't get you over the top. So I want to give Tibbs his credit, because I don't think we would be at this point if it wasn't for Tom Thibodeau. I just think we needed a guy like Mike Brown to get us over the hump. And it was little things that I think the reason why we couldn't get over the hump was little things like you guys stated. Tom Thibodeau was just unwilling. I wouldn't say unwilling, because we don't know. We weren't really there. A lot of things are through.
Would Tom Thibodeau bench Mikal Bridges for Tyler Kolek?
No, absolutely not. I think that he would have let him play. We watched Josh Hart struggle through the playoffs and still play 40 minutes.
Great point.
Yep.
I don't think he cares. I think he care more about. I think that's what I mean about the adjustments.
Right.
I don't think that was where Tom Thibodeau was faulted, because I think he believes in his players so much that he thinks they could play through a slump. And I think where Mike Brown wins and why he could get over some humps, because he probably believes that too, but he understands that right now we don't need you to get over a slump. We have someone else who's not in a slump and is playing really good basketball. Therefore, you got to sit down and figure it out there while he figures it out on the court. And I think that's the biggest difference, and that's what we need. We need a coach who's willing to make the adjustments immediately, not eventually. And that's just the big difference between Tibbs and Brown that I'm seeing so far. We don't know yet. We still have a playoff run to get to.
Oh,
it's fine.
Oh.
Party foul. I can say my daughter's taking a hot night, so I'm probably getting out of here early. You messed it up, but I think that's the biggest difference that I see. But I am gonna get out of here early because my daughter is causing havoc. Let's go next. I'll see you guys in the next show.
All good, B.
All right, all good, B. Oh my gosh, ain't with a bang, damn it! All right.
Why did you?
Mom life.
Mom life, yo. Mom life. Oh man. Oh man. And we talked about everybody, man. I just want to honorable mention to Tyler Kolek, not the call Clarkson. I'm gonna just say this one thing about Clarkson before we close out. I've hated almost every single shot that he hit. Like And when I say hold on, how come? Wait, where's Ryan? What the hell happened? There we go. I hated almost every single shot that he hit in the beginning of that fourth quarter, third to fourth quarter. Like the first big three he hit was not a good shot for basketball purists. Hard close out. He shot the ball. His right leg was crossing over his body. It was heavily contested and winning. And once he hit that, when he got the ball again, I absolutely knew it was going right back up because there was no way in hell that first shot should have went in. And guess what? The second shot went in too. And then the third shot went in. And next thing you know, he shot us back into the game. And so Tyler Kolek, this is one of those I love you, I hate you games. And I hated him at first, and he shot us back in this game. And I don't even know if we win this game without Tyler Kolek. I don't know if we win this game without Jordan Clarkson. I don't know if we win this game without Mitchell Robinson. And so props to Clarkson, who's kind of been slumping lately, but helped us get this game. And remember this moment during the playoffs, because we're going to need something like that in the playoffs when we're stuck in mud and we need like a spark to get us back going. You can definitely be a spark to get us back going. And he definitely was today.
Here I go again, man. Shout out to Leon Rose and the scouting staff, the brain trust for the New York Knicks for going after guys that are fourth quarter performers. I've been saying this now for every season I've been on KOT, that Leon Rose goes after dudes, whether it's Derrick Rose or Campaign or Alec Burks. Listen, don't get triggered. I'm just referencing him. I'm not saying don't get him. Those type of guys, they always perform really well in crunch time, whether here or not, or they used to be. Jordan Clarkson is now a part of that guy. Mitchell Robinson is one of those guys as well. When it's a fourth quarter, they play their best basketball. And damn it, I think Tyler Kolek might be one of those guys as well. So shout out to Leon Rose for surrounding Brunson with other guys who can hit big shots, which gives Brunson the trust to pass a rock when he needs to and not take a difficult off-balance one-legged three. Now, he might make that if we need it, but I like the fact that when a grenade is tossed, other guys can catch it and put up a W as well.
Facts. All facts. All right. None that, Ryan G? You want to move on?
Yeah, I'm pretty much good. I mean, Knicks win. Knicks haven't won anything since 1973. It's a historic night for the Knicks. I'm good to go.
The only other last thing I will say is Ariel Hawkporty today came in the game when I think was it when Karl-Anthony sat, and was he in foul trouble or injured or whatever? And Mitch, I think he was injured, and Mitch was in foul trouble.
Yeah.
Ariel Hawkporty came in and played 1 minute and 52 seconds of basketball. And you know who didn't play? Groshan Yabu had a total of 0 minutes and 0 seconds today. DMP on one of the biggest games of the year for the Knicks. It's kind of shows you like where the coach is mentally and who he really trusts when he really wants to win. When the game is on the line and he wants to win, he does not call Yabu Seli. It makes me feel like I don't know if Yabu Seli survives his trade deadline. I can't imagine him being here. Like he has to be on his way out, and I don't know for what. Because his value is diminished at this point. So I don't know what we could even realistically get back for him. But I'd be shocked if he's here past the trade deadline. I don't think he's going to be here.
Yeah, and like let's keep it a buck. Because the 1 minute and 52 seconds that Ariel Hawkporty played today, the plays he made, Yabu Seli would not make those plays.
Facts.
Like when De'Aaron Fox drove to the basket and he defended at the rim, which caused him to miss. Yabu Seli wouldn't make that play. And the other play when he dove on the floor for a steal that led to OG dunk, Yabu Seli wouldn't make that play. So the fact that, Ariel Hawkporty can come in for just 2 minutes and make such a huge impact within those 2 minutes, right now, if I'm Mike Brown, Hakporty's is gonna have a spot in rotation ahead of Yabu Seli at this point, because at least with Hakporty, I can at least depend on him to make at least a couple of defensive plays in the game that's gonna impact the Knicks winning in a game. Yabu Seli doesn't provide that at that moment. And then those comments he made the other day saying how, he's kind of like, I forgot his exact words, what he said, but it was along the lines of like him not understanding why he's not getting minutes, and there seems to be like maybe a lack of communication between him and the coach, or whatever the case may be. Maybe he doesn't really understand his role in the team, or whatever the case may be. But it just shows that his future here is very bleak at the moment, and I don't know what the Knicks can get from him, to be honest. If there's one glaring hole in the Knicks, it's another guy, like probably a guy who could play the 4 that the Knicks can bring, that the Knicks can bring in, to play that role. And I don't know how they replace Yabu Seli. I don't know if they have to, maybe, I don't know, like maybe do a cheap trade and then maybe have to go through the waivers, because teams are going to waive guys, and guys might be available on the market that needs to sign for cheap that can help out. I don't know what that path is going to be, because I don't think they can actually trade him and bring back somebody of value back to the team with the way he's been playing this season. But yeah, I can't see him on this team for, like, if he's still here by the trade deadline, I'll be surprised.
I have not been able to get anything out of my fellow journalist friends on the trade front. They're all quiet on the Leon Rose front. And so when I see these other publications or these other Twitter accounts saying this is happening, these trades, I'm like, bro, I don't know where you're hearing that from. It might be a voice in your head, because I'm not hearing any verification of this. They're keeping a very tight lip. I think they're going to wait all the way up until the deadline to possibly make a move. And I think right now Tyler Kolek is showing that he should stay, because just trading Batum Dadier is not going to get you anything. It would have to be a Tyler Kolek and Dadier combination, not just for Kolek's worth, but also to match salary to the player that you eventually need. But that Yabu 5.5, we're basically going to need Scott Perry do us a huge favor. And Leon Rose is going to have to swallow his pride and be like, I messed up. I should have brought back Precious. Let's do a 1-1 swap. I'll throw you a second, because Sacramento ain't going nowhere. I think that team probably blows it up by the deadline as well. Bring Precious back. I think Precious would do much better in this wheel system than what Tom Thibodeau was running, with a lot of that high pick and roll where he's just staying around or depending to be a corner shooter. I think as a baseline cutter, as a lob threat, bro, let's get Precious Chua back into his offense, and let's let him work with our shooting coach and our defense coach, and let's let him up to par where we need him to be to play 12, 15 spot man tonight. Like, let's do it. I think that's the best outlet going forward.
Man, you might be right, bro. Like, you already know my thing, with Precious. Regular season guy, choked every time and got to the playoffs.
Yep,
every freaking single time. So it's like something happens to OG Anunoby, and he has to play more big minutes. I'm just like, we're screwed. We are screwed. But at this point, I guess we just need a body. I don't know. I guess we just need a body. It is what it is at this point. Oh my gosh. You know what? That wasn't even my last topic. My absolute last topic. Freaking Jalen Brunson got the MVP, okay? We mentioned every single player on this roster that I wanted to mention. I mean, could have mentioned Josh Hart got 4 fouls, and Josh Hart was scared to shoot a 3, but hit the biggest 3 of the game in the fourth quarter. But Jalen Brunson, once again, here's the thing about Jalen Brunson. You can beat him up for 3 quarters, and the fourth quarter, a switch will happen, and he'll figure something out. And that's kind of what happened today. The shooting numbers weren't the best. I think he shot, 40% from the field, if I'm looking at the numbers. Yep, 41 minutes, 40% from the field, 20% from 3. I do feel like the Wemby effect definitely affected him in the first half, where a lot of moves where he usually is kind of automatic. I feel like he was looking around and didn't shoot it. But by the fourth quarter, I feel like he got like a feel of everybody, and those shots started to go in. He wasn't hesitating as much. He started to actually get shots in the paint. He actually started to hit his mid-range shot again, and he started to look like more and more like the Jalen Brunson I was used to seeing. And it helps that he relied on his teammates to help carry him. He also had 8 assists today, so good job getting the 8 assists going with the 40 points. And even with the struggles, he was a plus 15. So one of the highest plus minus on the night. For the Knicks, 2 highest plus minuses. Jalen Brunson plus 15, Jordan Clarkson plus 15. So, and Tyler Kolek plus 14. That's telling you something. All right, so MVP Jalen Brunson. Slow start, strong finish, good game overall.
Yeah, definitely. And I think one thing we're probably forgetting about that as to why it was easier for Jalen Brunson to operate in the fourth quarter, because I don't know if y'all noticed, but Wemby couldn't protect the rim as well as he did earlier in the game because he was too worried about Mitchell Robinson dominating that offensive boards, and he was often trying to box out Mitchell Robinson from grabbing the boards, which made the lane open for Brunson to drive into the lane and get his floaters off and get his shots off and things of that nature. So you have to, again, that shows the impact of Mitchell Robinson, because if he wasn't dominating those boards the way he was dominating them on the offensive boards, then Wemby would be in that lane, and then it would be tough for Jalen Brunson to operate because, again, he would be looking for Wemby, trying to figure out where he is. But since Mitchell Robinson Mitchell Robinson was dominating so much and Wemby had to keep a body on him, that caused Brunson to operate the way he usually operates in the fourth quarter and get his shots.
Great take.
Whew. Floor spacing in an unconventional way. All right.
Ryan cooking.
Yeah, that was a take right there. That was a take right there.
Oh, man.
Yeah, man. Well, that's it, man. That is it. Great game by the Knicks, man. The Knicks win an NBA Cup in Vegas. Felt great. One of the best games of the season. Playoff intensity for sure. Momentum I can definitely see some momentum being built from this game forward. There's no excuses when you see certain things anymore. We already know we can guard the paint and get out to the 3-point line. We already know we can communicate on defense. We already know we can share the ball. We already know Tyler Kolek can step up. Like, we know these things now. So this is a great win for these Knicks, and I hope we carry this on our way to the playoffs and to a finals run. Eventually win the championship. So let's go Knicks.
I have a question for you, Jay Ellis.
What's up?
Specifically you. Would you hang this banner in the MSG rafters? And whether it's yes or no, why?
Yeah, of course. Yeah. Why wouldn't we? I mean, this is not the level of an NBA championship, but it is an achievement. Like, listen, we've hung other banners before that wasn't even the cup. It was like, oh, we were first in the East. You know what I'm saying? It's like it's just another banner. It's an accomplishment. I would definitely hang it up. And then if we win the championship, then it's even cooler because it's like, look, we got that and we got that. 2 banners for 1 year. It makes it that much sweeter. So I'm for hanging it up for sure.
Okay.
And what about you?
Yeah, hell yes. I think this banner, like I said, this is dedicated to fans like the 3 of us that survived the worst eras of any single sports franchise in the history of sports. It's been absolute poverty to where you almost get angry watching a game because the present is both bleak and the future is bleak. Because you don't have your picks and the contracts suck and no one's done in New York and we're a laughing stock. People wearing brown paper bags. Now we have something to be proud of. So part of that pride is when you look up, you see recent achievements, not just 1970, 1973, 1992, 1994, 1999, now 2013. Now you look up and you see 2025, and it resets the expectations of, oh, we're not just good then, we're now good again. Right. And that's really important. And I think having that reminder is crucial in how the Knicks are viewed, how the fans are viewed, and how we view ourselves.
Great point. All right. Great show, guys. I know I'm exhausted. I know you guys might be too. I don't know if there's any bro picks. Do you have any bro picks, Ryan?
Yeah, I got a couple bro picks.
Right.
My first bro pick goes to Marcus Smart because the other night against the Suns. My guy was on a fast break and he tried to be fancy with it. Like he wasn't like he was driving to the basket. He had a wide open lane. Instead of going up for a layup, he was like, you know what? I'm gonna make a pass, but I'm not gonna look where I'm passing it. I'm gonna make a no-look pass. My guy drives to the basket with a wide open lane to score, and he decides to make a back pass, no look, right into a Suns defender's hands with the turnover.
Bruh.
Oh man. Okay, not so swaggy pass P. Okay.
And my next bro pick goes to tonight. Because if you look at social media, because, you know, people be catching things. While the Knicks are celebrating their NBA Cup victory and the captain, Big Body Brunson, was holding up the cup with his teammates, Josh Hart was behind him. And, and Josh Hart sneaks his hand to Jalen Brunson's butt cheek area, and Jalen Brunson is like, "Hey, yo!" And he turns around during the celebration,
Bruh.
And I'm like, "Yo, Josh Hart, like, come on!" Like the other day with the inch by inch comments, with Jalen Brunson. And now this during the NBA Cup celebration, like, come on, Josh Hart, like, come on, that's an AAO right there. That's a pause. That's a whose man's is this? Like, come on, you gotta chill, my guy. You gotta chill.
Mikal came with the. We call him Damian Lillard because he has the biggest head in the game.
Bruh.
Yo!
Damn.
Oh, I ain't gonna add to that tonight. Hell no. I've done enough on this show. I'm done enough. I'm out shut.
Oh my god.
Nah, that's crazy.
Yeah, let's not get canceled.
Oh, I love this show.
I was like, damn, Mikal, y'all just all hey yo brothers is crazy. Okay.
They're all a little zesty for sure.
Y'all talking about cat. Y'all go the other way. My man squeezing butt cheeks on air. Y'all talking about cat. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
For real. And it was so hilarious because you saw Jalen Brunson celebrate. All of a sudden, my man just stopped celebrating and just had a stern look and turned right at Josh Hart like, what the hell?
Oh, man. Can't take that man nowhere. All right.
That's a good who paid.
Taylor Rooks, yeah.
Man, she's blowing up the internet, bro.
Yeah.
Bad alert.
Yeah, man.
Oh.
All right. That's the bro pick.
Yeah, and speaking of Taylor Rooks, I saw Taylor Rooks in person one time because I went to a Deuce and Miro comedy show, and she was cool with them. And I saw in the stands, I'm telling you, by far, one of the most beautiful women I've seen in person. I was like, God damn. I understand why she be talking to some NBA players, and it's like they're like, you know, it's like they're kind of like
brain going, yeah,
exactly, like their brain just goes dead, and they're just like staring, like they're just staring into space and things of that nature. Like, yo, she's mad pretty in person, mad pretty.
All right. Shout out Taylor Rooks and husband. Oh, all right, yo. That's it.
Yeah, that's all the bro picks. Yeah, I'm good.
All right, yo, that's the show. Thank you guys for watching. Yo, if you like the show, hit that like and subscribe. We have to every game talking Knicks basketball. We giving you the jokes, we giving you the insight, we giving you the 360 view of what we think about these Knicks. And so if you enjoy that, hit that like and subscribe to the channel. All right. And if you're on Twitter, you're watching, come to youtube.com/NickTimeShow and subscribe to the channel. But shout out to everybody who's rocking with us on the KOT show in the chat. Shout out to Fritz, the best mind in the game, Randu 1973. Sparker 1901, East Blue Drew, Alexander GBK, everybody rock Gamer Channel, the Predicate. For we surveyed 100 people. I feel like I've seen everybody here today. JM30, Stanley Nowak, Jabroni, Everybody rocking with this show. Am I missing somebody? I feel like I'm missing a lot of people. I've seen a lot of people. I've seen the chat was active today. We appreciate you guys. And if you're new in the chat and you haven't subscribed yet, what are y'all doing, man? Just come join the family, man. We trying to get to not 10K followers. We're inching closer to 9K. So if you want to help us reach our goal and you enjoy the show, definitely do that, man. Help us get to that 10K followers for the season. All right, yo. That's the show. Thank you guys for watching. Lee, let them know where they can find you, man.
Great to see my main man, Alexander, and my other main man, John Baines, in the chat. I don't mean that in a Josh Hart kind of way. Just mean my brothers. I haven't seen y'all in a while. It's great to have you consistently back in the chat now, Alexander. And John Baines, I haven't seen you since last season, bro. We did it together, man. We come to San Antonio. Let's rock it out in Texas, man. Do some barbecue and hang out. Yeah, man. Find me on Twitter at _Leescobedo, LEESCOBEDO. I've been active on the Substack, dropping mad heat. And got a piece for Bleacher Report coming out tomorrow on why the Knicks should hang the banner. So that's why I was asking JL his opinion, because he's my favorite Knicks fan, the best of all time, in my opinion. Yeah, so be prepared for that. That's some hot heat from the yard barker as well, man. Appreciate y'all.
All right. Ryan G, let me know where to find you, sir.
You can find me on Twitter at RyanGKOT. You can also find me on Instagram at Sir G is Chillin'.
Sir G is chilling.
That's SIR. G is CHILLIN. And yes, make sure you check out that Substack. Lee had an article the other day about how the Knicks could beat OKC, and that was a beautiful, well-written article. Like one of the best articles I've read.
Yes.
Ooh, appreciate that, bro.
Yes.
I put hours and hours into that.
And you can tell.
Yeah.
You can absolutely tell.
Definitely.
A lot of research. Really good read. Definitely go read that article.
Appreciate that.
For sure. All right.
I'll bring that back up in the finals.
Yeah.
All right. Hell yeah. All right. You can follow us at the KOT Show on Twitter, the Nick of Time Show on Instagram, and the Nick of Time Show on Facebook as well. Also, iTunes, Google Play, Stitcher, wherever you listen to sounds to the podcast, you can find the KOT Show. All right. That is the show. Get some sleep. Thank you guys for watching. And as always,
shout out the Worldwide West. Everywhere we go, we leave a worldwide mess.
It's a mess out here in these Knicks streets. That's the show. We out of here.
Peace.
New York, big city of dreams. New York, big city of dreams.